Boys, we got more Project Mugen news. It's a big deal. It's one of the most anticipated gacha games of 2023. It won't come out in 2023, by the way, but it's definitely on every single person's radar since that goddamn trailer dropped. And I was perusing Reddit today and I found an interview with the CEO. And I want to go through it today and talk to you about it because it has stuff that pertains to multiplayer, which I know a lot of people are interested in, the grand size of the game, how many cities there are, that kind of stuff. Gameplay mechanics, main characters as well. It's got a whole lot of stuff in it. This interview was conducted at Tokyo Game Show, which just concluded about a week ago. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump in. So the name of the article is Project Mugen's lead producer reveals the game and films inspiring this open world action RPG. We talked with Naked Brain's Ash Key about development. Keep in mind, I'm going to say Key or Chi. I don't really know the true pronunciation. So let me go. We talked to Naked Brain's Ash Key about movement, microtransactions, and the potential of multiple cities in this upcoming free-to-play game. And it's got a lot of fodder stuff saying like, after Project Mugen's announcement trailer hit last month at Gamescom, many were quick to say it's got a lot of Spider-Man inspiration, which wasn't the case. I want this to be known. I called that this wasn't Spider-Man. Like, obviously it's Spider-Man relevant to a degree, but I said what the director of the game said. So kind of, I'm a bit of a gigabrain in a sense. Project Mugen's lead producer Ash Key at Tokyo Game Show last week revealed that the inspiration actually came from another source. When I was 10 or 12, I played Prototype and Prototype 2, explained Key. If you've never seen Prototype, this game is like Spider-Man, except he's a Giga Chad. It is the most goddamn insane game I've probably ever played. During my childhood, I could not put the game down. Prototype 1, way better than Prototype 2. I don't know how you even would go about it, but I recommend playing them if you are bored and you want something to, you know, play. And she was referring to the 2009 and 2012 open world games developed by Radical Entertainment and published by Activision. Those are games that inspired me to make Project Mugen. Prototype reminded me of the Venom character from Spider-Man, and it was so cool, and loved the city. Dude's got good taste. The movement basis is more Prototype than it is Spider-Man. Obviously in Prototype you can't swing webs, but outside of that, the wall running and the mantling of the game looks like Prototype. Now that you know that, and I've probably shown you some gameplay in the background, you can now kind of see and draw that parallel that it's more so Prototype than it is Spider-Man. Prototype and GTA were apparently big inspirations for the design of Project Mugen, but self-described crazy movie fan Key, what a guy, and his team are also taking cues from plenty of action and sci-fi films in the design of the stylish-looking free-to-play adventure. The full interview with Key from Tokyo Game Show can be found below. Alright, we're gonna skip watching this because we've already seen it. Everyone's already seen it. And if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I make videos every single day, or at least I try to, and I do stream on Twitch every single day at twitch.tv/MaximGacha. Yeah, no, I gotta plug it. So IGN asked, how has the response been for the first two Project Mugen trailers? Well, actually, the response has been surprisingly good, yeah, in particular from overseas gamers, so this makes us very excited. This feels like a dream come true, and it makes us want to make the game better. Pretty standard stuff. As you can see, I'm going to jump across to the website. 3 million pre-registers. 3 mil. We've known about the game for 1 month. That is an insane number. It's got a lot of hype around it. That ain't no secret. IGN. The trailers give the overall impression that Project Mugen might just be a Genshin Impact but in an urban setting. How does Project Mugen differentiate itself from Genshin Impact? Ash said, the reason why fans may feel us and Genshin look similar is because we all belong to the so-called Nijigen culture. I had to Google that. It just means anime and manga. There's not really much more to that word. It looks like animation and comics. It's like the players are immersed in an animation and comics world, so they may be the reason why we look alike. However, the most important thing is that the storytelling, the setting of our urban open world, and the characters are all very, very different from Genshin. I like that Ash wants to really get across there is a difference here. There is a big, big difference. All because it's open world and all because it's anime doesn't make it a Genshin clone. I mean, I'm ready to tell you guys Genshin's like a 6 out of 10 game, but you ain't ready for that. Next question. Speaking of the storytelling, what can you tell me about the narrative of Project Mugen? And then Ash said, not only are we under the influence of comics and animation, but also movies like Men in Black, The Matrix, and Minority Report. Our setting is that this is a world where human beings coexist with chaos and chaotic elements. And the gamers serve as an investigator. The task is to explore the cities, to investigate various chaos, and to control the dangerous elements. And during this process, the gamer will encounter partners, other characters, and he or she will get involved in a lot of events. And in these events, he will also encounter some identity crisis. So through all these adventures, finally, the gamer will find out about the truth of the world and the truth of his or her identity. So this is the storyline and the object of Project Mugen. So we learned from the comics and animation and various movies in order to create such a world. I think it's worth mentioning, there's a lot of his or her here, so it is most likely going to be a self-insert MC. Some people are not happy with that. I touched on it a bit in my Honkai Impact 3 Part 2 video. People are not happy with self-insert MCs. I don't think it's that bad if the supporting cast is just that strong. Like Honkai Star Rail has a self-insert MC, and it's got an amazing story because every character that isn't the MC is a damn well-written character. Genshin, not so much. Do players get to create a character, or are there a set number of preset characters to choose from? Oh boy. Okay, a lot of people love create a character. So let's find out. There will be a main character, the hero for the gamer, and that main character will have his or her main storyline, and during that process, the gamer can encounter other characters and other characters. Yo, who wrote this? And other characters all have their own different backgrounds and their unique stories. And when the other characters join the main character and explore together, you can control these characters and switch between them. So yeah, pretty much a gacha game. There's also some controversy of whether or not it will be a gacha game. I'm pretty confident it will be. If you go look at the newest update video from Project Mugen, if you go look in the bottom right hand corner of all the in-game footage, there is a UID. UIDs not exclusively belong to gacha games, but they are in every single gacha game. It is worth considering at the very least that it probably will be a gacha. The city itself looks enormous. Is it largely procedurally generated, or will each area feel distinct to explore? First, we have several cities in Project Mugen, and all of the cities are based upon one of several cities that actually exist in real life, based upon the culture and the size of these cities. Secondly, we actually create these cities with technology that is procedurally generated in order to reduce the repetitive and manual workload for our artists so that they can focus on more creative work. For example, there will be large cities, and in cities, there are so many traffic lights, and if you have to draw those traffic lights one by one, it's meaningless work. So in other words, they're using something to reuse assets to kind of get the game out sooner, as well as decrease the workload on their artists and the developers. Huge W. So we can do this work procedural generation technology so the artists can focus upon more creative work and create a city with various different features in different districts that the gamers can experience in different parts of each city. We know there's going to be multiple areas. It's not just going to be one city and that's it till the end of the game's existence. They do mention later in the article how many cities will be announced on launch day. But hey, I'm not mad at traffic lights and certain buildings being identical to each other as long as the game itself has a lot of life in it. If there's NPCs crowd on the sidewalks everywhere, and it feels truly alive, I can live with 4 or 5 buildings that look the exact same in repetition when you're walking down a back alley. So it's not that big a deal. Are you able to expand on which real cities have served as inspiration for Project Mugen besides Tokyo? Ash said, the city you see in the trailers is actually a representation of a few Eastern Asian cities, not just Tokyo. In the future, we will try to develop more cities based on other cities around the world, such as London or some Chinese cities with very strong cultural elements in them. So you say in the future, so at launch, will Project Mugen just feature one city to explore? Ash simply says, yes, it's going to be one city. But if you look at the screenshots from the game, for example, like the one just above this question, it is an enormous scale for one city. So I don't think that's going to ruffle any feathers or be overall a bad thing. There's going to be a lot to do. So hopes are still high. That doesn't deter me at all. What can you tell me about Project Mugen's combat? Project Mugen is an RPG, so every character has their own weapon, fighting style, and different background. We also want to show the gamers freedom and give them an outlet for their daily stress in the game. So we like to give the player a lot of options for them to choose during a battle, because the game is set in an open world. Players can use objects on the street in their surrounding area during a fight, and we think that it makes the battles more interesting, and we were inspired by various Jackie Chan movies where Jackie Chan uses objects around him to attack his enemies with. I think they're using that in reference to in the gameplay trailers we have, where they have telekinesis, they pick up barrels and just lob them. In these screenshots, it's like this. You know how like you straight up pick up a car and dunk it on these guys? I think they're referencing that. Will you have a lot of variety in terms of vehicles? The trailer seems to hint at cars and motorbikes along with Spider-Man style swinging. Alright, this is where it gets interesting because it's more than just being able to use that motorbike was one of the trailers from the Bunny Girl. Ash says, the keyword for this game is freedom. Each character is different, so each character has some kind of a superpower. They are kind of superheroes, so they do not just move like ordinary men, they're not just like walking, they're swinging. They ride their unique vehicles and move around very fast. And the city itself is a very complicated 3D world, so we developed so many different ways of traveling and moving. So for example, the character Taffy, that's the bunny person I was talking about earlier, can get around on a motorbike, and a motorbike is also her weapon. So there's so many ways of traveling, lots of options for the player, making them feel like they can really travel around the whole world. Sweet, so each unique person, from the sounds of things at the very least, has a different way to traverse the game. We saw several characters use the grappling hook, swinging, spiderweb, whatever you want to call it, using that kind of mechanic. So far, we've only seen Taffy use the bike to drive around on, but we've got next to no information on the game other than about 4 minutes of footage. So, kind of gotta wait till we see some more. Is there any multiplayer? And if so, how does it work? This is a big deal. Everyone wants to know, can you play with your friends on this? Ash said, Project Mugen has both single player and multiplayer modes. However, our multiplayer mode is not like an MMORPG. Instead, in Project Mugen multiplayer, you invite your friends, your actual friends in real life, to join you, and you can travel around together and play in this world together. That is very interesting. I don't really know what he means by that. It could just be a translation thing. Keep in mind, this was done in Tokyo, which is going to be done in Japanese, and it's being translated back into English. Take that actual friends in real life with a grain of salt bit. I think they're more just trying to say you add each other via UID and you can just kind of jump into each other's worlds very, very seamless. But it's good to hear that there is multiplayer, so huge W. Project Mugen is free to play, which can have both positive and negative connotations. I'm just curious about monetization and how much grinding will be involved. But now we are focusing on developing the game itself, so the business model is still not a priority for us now. We are quite flexible in the future, so any business model is possible for us, and we are open for change. We just want to adopt a business model that is most suitable for this game. But we think that the most important thing, the fundamental thing, is the game itself. It's the game's story and content. We don't want the players to have to pay to win. We want them to be excited to play and be passionate about the content and experience in the game. Pretty cookie cutter response. They did the same thing with Zenless Zone Zero. They're different companies. I'm not trying to say they're the same company. ZZZ had the same thing of, we don't know how we're going to monetize it yet. We want the game to be good before we kind of think about how to sell it. So there's still a lot that still remains to be seen. On that note, where is Project Mugen at in its development, and when is it likely to release? Ash says, unfortunately, I can't tell you right now the exact time frame for launch. Oh man, that sucks. We're preparing to launch Project Mugen on PC, PlayStation, and many other platforms. Right now, we're in the busiest stage of our development because we have so much content to create to fill this open world in order to provide our players with enough an experience to play it. Going off what he says just there alone, the game's probably 2 years away. 2025 would not sound so outlandish. Mid 2025, maybe late 2024 if we get lucky, but I don't want them to rush it and we get an unfinished product that we will never touch again. Are you designing the game to last 5 years, 10 years? Okay, this is longevity. This is going to be interesting. Ash says, after launch, we'll constantly keep updating Project Mugen, the content, map, characters, and the storyline, making sure that players will constantly have new experiences, and we will update the modes, including multiplayer mode, so that the player will never feel alone or lose interest in the game. So they're gonna update multiplayer. That's kind of sick. That's kind of a W. Multiplayer is not going to be an afterthought. It's going to be something that they will keep updating and maybe even add events where you play with your friends to complete the event, which would ultimately be really cool. I don't think we've seen many gacha games really do that other than raid boss kind of stuff, but hey, we'll see. So Project Mugen is intended to be around for a very long period, and our whole team is going to put all of our energy and time into this game for the future and hopefully for a very long time and keep updating it. And then the interview wraps up with, thank you for your time, good luck with the rest of development. Ash replies, thanks, and then they part ways. Ultimately, this game sounds amazing. This is a unique gacha game, and I'm very excited to kind of see what they meant by the multiplayer with playing with your friends in real life, which I think is a mistranslation, but they did say they're going to be updating the multiplayer, which is also a very weird thing to say. You don't really get that in gacha games. It's kind of just an afterthought that you play with people once, and then you realize, oh, I can't do much, and you only really do it when you're farming flowers on Genshin or doing raid bosses on Nikki or whatever it may be. Nonetheless, this is a huge insight to the game, and we get to know a little bit more about a game that is very, very hyped up. Anyway, that's been it for today's video. I know it's a very long video, so sorry for that. But if you did like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below. Please let me know what you think. I already know it's gonna be Nettie's comments, but Look, I know people are going to say NetEase this, NetEase that. Why don't you NetEase yourself some bitches, okay? I can't kind of get any understanding as to why people put NetEase at the forefront of the concern of this game. This game is on such a scale that NetEase has never even touched. So I don't know why people are thinking it's a scam or whatever it may be. Hey, it's a corporate big company. I could be very wrong. They could rob us of every dime off day one release and just shut servers and, you know, go do their own thing. Other than that, show me your optimism or show me your doubt and just, yeah, let's see how the game is. And yeah, I don't want to take any more time up out of your day, so I'm gonna head out. See ya.